Hi, so it's a lovely sunny day here today, and we're going to work on our side lying series today. So this is where we're going to be lying on the mat on the side. We're going to work one side and then come over to the other side. So a lot of work for the legs, so the glutes will be working here, glute medius, also the thighs will be working, and the core will have to be working to stabilise to keep the upper body as still as possible. Obliques will be working, so we'll be picking the underneath side away from the floor, and then the top side will be working as well. And it's basically a full body workout, but lots and lots of muscles being worked here. So let's come on down. So we're going to start off, just bring yourself down onto one side. So we need to come fully down onto the arms. So if it is not comfortable for you to be lying fully down on an extended arm like this because of your shoulder, then grab a cushion, or if you've got a block, you can use a block. Just pop it under your head and have the arm extending out in front. So that should just help with the position of the shoulder. So find a comfortable position. Okie dokie. So you can line up with the edge of your mat to just make sure that you're nice and straight here. We're stacking up all the joints, the ankles, the knees, the hips, all stacking up. Find the zip up towards the belly button to engage the lower abdominals and the pelvic floor, and then think about squeezing, drawing that belly button back towards the spine, just so that we engage through all the abdominals here. The top hand can rest on the floor in front for stability. So we're going to start off with a lift and lower. So you can point the toe to lift, maybe flex into lower, but your choice, and see how I'm keeping a little gap in between the ankles here. So that's just to make sure that the top leg stays active the whole time, that we're not switching off those muscles as we lift and lower, and we're really reaching through that top leg. So point, reach through the toes and lowering back down. So this is really working into this glute medius muscle on the top here, part of the hip joint, sort of drives lots of hip movements. Okay, so we're just going to take another couple here. One more, and then we're going to hold up at the top. Flex the foot this time so that we've got the toes pointing forwards. We're going to pulse it up here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Hold, bend up your bottom knee. That's just for a bit of extra stability, and then you're going to point the toe and we're going to come into circles. So we're going to take 10 circles forwards, not too quick, and we're using the core muscles here to stabilise, trying to take that foot in front and behind the midline. So we're working core as well as working into these glute muscles here. Last two. And then we're going to reverse. So flex your foot and we'll reverse, taking those circles backwards. Breathing, don't forget to breathe. Last 4, 3 and 2. And then last one, we're going to lower the top leg down, straighten that bottom leg back out. So we're going to come into our lift, lift, lower. So we're going to lift the top leg up to hip height, then lift the bottom leg up, and then float both legs back down to the floor. So use the breath here. So breathe out to lift, inhale to lower. Really firing up through the core. So we're going to need to engage the core to help lift those legs. Keep that hand there for balance. See how I just nearly lost mine. So really think about zipping up, drawing that belly button back. Keep nice and strong through the centre. As you float one leg up, then that second leg, lowering both legs back down with control. Okay, last one there. So then we're going to take both legs up. Again, use your breath. Let's take that zip up towards the belly button draws back. So we're feeling nice and strong through the centre here. Take a breath in. Breathing out, float both legs up, inhale to lower, and again, reach through the legs, inhale to lower. You can point the toes to lift and flex to lower, or you can just take those legs up and down. Just try and have a little float as you bring the feet back down. That's going to keep the legs super active if you want a little bit extra challenge. Let's make this one the last one. Super job. Okay, take a little hug in of the knees, and then you're going to push yourself up. We're going to come into our side bend exercise, and then we're going to finish with a side plank, and then we'll flip it over onto the other side. So our side bend, this is going to work lots of different muscles. We're going to be working the obliques, we're going to be working the glutes, and we're going to be working into upper body strength as well. So the elbow is lining up with the hip. Check that the hips are stacked. You want to have that top hip directly above the bottom hip, so you don't want it rolling back, which sometimes it really wants to do that. So stacking up the top hips, the knees, the ankles. Draw that belly button back, find your little zip up here. So we're just going to start off with a little lift and lowering the hips. So really think about drawing up that underneath side so that we're engaging all of these oblique muscles on the side of the body. So this is quite a strong work for the shoulder. Now if you want to move it on, you can stick with that version, that's your level 1. If you want to move it on, hand's just going to rest, the top arm's just going to rest on the outside of the thigh. As you lift up, you're going to add a sweep of the arm up and over, drawing a rainbow on the ceiling, and then lowering the hips back down. Careful that those hips stay stacked. And again, lift, sweep, keep those hips lifted, and then lower back down. So you can stick with that. If you want to take it on to the next version, I'm going to come up onto a raised hand. So this time the hand is in line with the hip. So you've got this triangle shape here. Think about lifting the head away from the shoulder so we're not sinking into the shoulder here. Same thing here, so we're just going to keep the joints stacking here, and you're going to lift the hips, add a sweep of the arm, lost my arm a little bit there, but you know what it's doing, and then lower back down. Try to keep that arm nice and straight. So the core is engaging the whole time. I can feel my core muscles working to lift and reach, lower back down, really picking up through the waist here on the underneath side so that we're really working into those oblique muscles. Okay, let's just work one more here. And lower. Okay, and then you're going to bring yourself back down into a propped arm, so the elbow lining up with the hip, taking the legs long this time. We're going to hold a side plank, stacking up the joints, really engaging the core, so find your zip up, belly button drawing back. Legs are stacking, feet are stacking, and you're just going to lift that hip and reach the arm up. So this is tough, and I want you to really think about keeping those hips lifted from the floor, this oblique muscle, or this waist here, sorry, lifting away from the floor, reaching up through those top fingers. Just see if we can hold for another 5, 4, 3, I'm shaking, 2, 1, and lower it back down. Super job, everybody. Okay. Let's flip it over onto the other side. Work all those exercises on the other side. Okay, so we're going to start off bringing ourselves down onto the floor, lining yourself up with the edge of the mat, stacking up all the joints, the ankles, the knees, the hips. Don't forget you can put that pillow under your head with the arm out in front for shoulders if you need to. Otherwise, lying on an outstretched arm. Let's find the zip up, belly button drawing back. And we're going to start off, the top hand can rest on the floor in front. We're going to start off with our lift and lower. So point to lift the leg, flex to lower, reaching through those toes, keeping a little gap between the ankles. Imagine somebody's got hold of your ankle and they're kind of pulling it out from the hip joint, so you're finding length in that top leg. Bottom leg is just lightly pushing into the floor, so it's still a little bit active here. Okay, let's take 2 more here. So it's a lift and lower, keeping the little gap. And then this time we're going to hold up at hip height, flexing the foot, pulsing up here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Lower that top leg down, just bending up the bottom leg. Top leg reaches long. We're going to come into those circles. So find your hip height, point the toe. And we're going to take the toe in front and behind the midline for 10 circles. Again, check that you've got that belly button drawing back. Core is switched on, your abdominal muscles are engaged. This is just going to stop too much shift in the upper body, and we know that we're still working the core as well as working into these glute muscles. Think about a little lift in the underneath of your waist here, like a little mouse hole. Okay, let's hold the leg up, flex the foot and reverse the circles here. 9, 8 and 7, reaching through the foot. Last 4, 3, 2 and one. Okay, lowering the top leg, straighten the bottom leg back out, so we're reaching nice and long in this low level here. So we're going to come into our lift, lift, lower. So again, you can use the breath. So take an inhale to prepare, breathing out to lift, lift the bottom leg and float both legs back down. So it's a lift, lift and lower. So with this one, again, really important to have those core muscles activated. That's really going to help you to lift both those legs up. If this isn't for you, I want you to just stick with a lift and lower of the top leg. Didn't say that on the other side. Okay, let's go for one more here. And then we're going to come into a double leg lift. So again, use the breath, inhaling to prepare, breathing out to lift. Inhale to lower. And again, if you keep that little float of the feet just above the floor, it's just going to keep those leg muscles all activated, so it's going to just work you a little bit harder. 2 more. And lift and lower. Last one. Okay, then we're going to take a little hug up with the knees and finish with those side bends and then into the side plank. So again, I'm going to try and work through the same set on this side if I can. So elbow lining up with the hip, stuck in those hips, checking that top hip, not rolling back. Stacking up the knees and the ankles. Okay, so we're going to start off with our lift and lower of the hips. And just thinking about drawing up here in that waist area. Adding the sweep if you want. So hand comes up, sweeps over. And then back down. So you're holding the hips up for longer. That's going to work into your oblique muscles, into the shoulder, into the glutes just a little bit more. So you can carry on working here. On the forearm, you can maybe really think about your form, really that mind-body connection. Or if you want to work at the next level, you're going to come up onto the hand. And again, we're thinking about that triangle shape here. So the joints stacking up, just checking that the ear isn't drawing into the shoulder here. Finding the zip up, belly button draws back, lift and sweep, and then lowering it back down. So just working whichever version is working for you. And then when you're ready, we're going to take it into that side plank to finish. So just coming back down onto the forearm, elbow lining up with the hip here, taking the legs long. And we're going to lift the hips. Okay, so here we go. Lifting the hips, taking that arm up. So reaching the arm straight up. So you're going to need to think about that zip up of the pelvic floor. So zipping up towards the belly button drawing away from your t-shirt. Really trying to pick up that underneath waistline from the floor. I'm a little bit weaker on this side, I'm a bit more wobbly. So reaching up through those fingers, let's hold it here for our last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower it back down. So that's super work for the whole body, working both sides at different times with that side plank. And you can work to build that up, so maybe starting with 5 seconds, 10 seconds, building it up and up and up. Maybe seeing if you can hold it up to a minute on each side. So that's always going to give you super workout for your body. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like always, tag it on to any of the others. Make sure you take a nice stretch out afterwards. There's a couple of other videos that you can use for that. And have a lovely day. Thank you.